Okay, fab. So we know that there are kind of white and yellow Staurocalyptus, and we are trying to kind of unravel the taxonomy of these guys. There also appears to be different species of the yellow ones too. So if we could take, I think a small grab, just a piece, would be plenty of a white one if we see a white one and a yellow one.
Okay.
Do you want to
like
take from this one we're seeing, Abby, or do you want to go over to one of the other ones that they showed in their pan?
I was getting the sense from Lizzie, would you rather we found kind of a smaller one to grab a piece from?
Oh no, I'm happy
Okay.
with whatever your preference is. No big deal. If we're here and this makes sense, let's take a piece.
Okay, this one would be fab.
So, sorry, I didn't follow what you were saying there. Do you want a piece of this one?
Yes, please.
Okay. And this is a slurp, snip and slurp.
It could be. It's definitely going to be quite tough. So I don't think it will just slurp up. It would have to be a grab.
Yeah. So grab and
put
slurp.
In a box or. Yep.
Okay. You just want a little piece of it and then slurp it.
Can barely hear you.
Me?
No.
Abby.
Abby.
Yeah. Me. Okay.
Yeah.
Al, are we able to increase volume on our side?
I can't do that.
Hang on.
No, I'd be the other one would be blown out. Everybody else would.
Gotcha.
Make our system explode. Do we want pretty pictures of that sponge before we tear it up?
Yes, please.
We get some lasers
I thought
on
we
it.
just got some. Didn't we?
We got some, but no lasers.
Hello, hagfish.
There we go.
Yeah, I got to get some focus first, because if you zoom in on this, it'll be a mess. Can I zoom in?
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Just get artistic, Al.
Okay, watch me do my dolly thing with this.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Can we ask the hagfish to come out to pose? Oh,
Colors.
perfect.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oops. So I should not do that.
Right, George Foreman.
Did we just get bumped by a fish?
No. That was me bad.
You were moving the
I looked
arm
up
for
last
the nip,
second.
right?
Yeah, I was moving the arm.
And your hand cut the stick?
Yeah.
Better than the arm itself catching this.
Yeah. Are we good on all this, or
Yep.
what's this? Yeah. Okay.
With and without lasers?
Yeah, we have without lasers. Yep.
And here we go.
Yeah, I think we.
All set, Steve?
All set.
Coming out. Yeah, let's rip this thing apart, Bob.
That's not what we do here, Al.
Oh, sorry. Then don't watch me eat lunch in a little while. Now we're
So
performing it.
sponges have these.
Go ahead.
All right. Come in.
Zooming for a delicate biopsy.
Gotta turn the grip. What was it? Grip force 2. I got some drift here. Hold up a second, I gotta fix this.
Zoom out.
54, 23. That is worse.
Steve, confirming sample number for this one?
This is going to be 46.
46.
46.
All right. Oh, dang it. Let's get the creeps.
Creeps. Creeps and the sweeps.
Yeah.
Looks like it just stopped.
Oh, little hatchet fish there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That was a great flyby.
Coolest cameo of the dive so far.
Oh.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, hi.
Steve, can you log that one?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, zoom in now.
Good for the Halloween reel.
Did anybody log that crab that was in front of the lens?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the list.
Good. That was great.
There was also a crab attack.
It's pretty rubbery. There it goes.
Yeah, you need some pinch powder. Wow.
This is not a strategy for sampling I've seen before.
But by golly, did it work?
Yeah,
I like it.
like making pasta.
Surgical.
Can sponges regrow damaged pieces like that, Abby?
Well, so this is a glass sponge. I know a lot more about the demo sponge's capacity to regenerate, and they are actually excellent at regrowing tissues because unlike our cells, which when they become one certain type, they're kind of differentiated and that's it.
That's so wrong.
But sponge cells, like stem cells, can sort of swap cell types. So if there's damage to an area of sponge, then other cells can migrate to that area and fill in any gaps or damage. Glass sponges are quite different on a cellular level. So I'd have to do a little check and just see what we know about regeneration rates in the glass sponges. But as a group, yes, they are good regenerators.
Got it. Yeah, I was just curious. I imagine there's so much that sponge is so large. There's the rest of it is so big and healthy. I can't imagine that would kill the sponge at all.
Well, we do know that. So I've definitely seen up in the shallows, if you have something like damage to a sponge tissue combined with predation, that can be more of a worry to a sponge. I know down here we might see nudies feeding on some of the sponges. We've seen like scar tissue, but there are a lot of natural sponge predators. We also know that some of these glass sponges do grow quite a lot faster than we
So-
initially thought.
Is that a big enough piece that's in the jar? Because I don't know if we end up with a big piece of this in the hose, it could get stuck. But if you have enough of a
Is there any-
sample, I can just let this go.
If it's
Can we-
possible, I would like to keep what we've got in the claw. If there's maybe one of the smaller bio boxes, you
Well,
could
it's going to be kind of,
drop it in that.
it's sort of drifty. I don't know. Maybe.
Can you try doing what you just did where you slurp it up and it rips off smaller pieces?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, but
Yeah.
it's kind of.
I know that it looks quite floaty, but we have managed to keep some in a box before. Oh, this maybe.
Oh,
Just needs a little bit of encouragement.
Go on.
Oh, great. Yeah, yeah.
That
Oh,
make
what a
it in
tease.
there? Where'd the other piece go?
This is full juice.
Stuck at the top.
We're getting action there.
Nice, nice, nice.
Abby, I've partially filled in the sample log.
Thanks, Ty. So it's interesting, we're actually seeing that the yellow color is actually coming out of the tissues, and that's something I've noticed on other samples of these we've taken. Need a chemist to take a look at where that yellow is coming from. Whether it could be a color that's coming from a bacterial associate, or
well,
So I see at least one chunk. I'll turn off suction for a second and see what settles.
Looks like the sponge escaped.
like vacuum troubleshooting 101.
Can you zoom in on that with the bubble?
Oh, yeah.
Oops, sorry. Well, I didn't see it in there anyway, so the nozzle's smaller than the rest of the hose, so generally you get it past that point.
I don't see much in one.
We had stuff in there.
Yeah, I saw a good sized piece in the jar a while ago.
Look like there should be 3 pieces.
Should I turn some suction back on?
Yeah.
That's 70%.
Right, let me shake the hose while you're sucking. Get on there. Back. I just,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, there's a good
I think
chunk.
that's most of it.
I think that's good. Maybe we can,
Mm.
yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I don't like silence from science is bad.
Oh, no. Just, just holding our breath to watch the chunks. That's,
Waiting for the other
that's
pieces to drop.
fantastic.
Well, it could be
Yeah.
that it's caught up in the mesh, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
as it's swirling around, it can get caught in the mesh, so then it won't
Yeah.
fall down into the bottom of the jar, but it's up
Mhm.
in there.
You can keep an eye on it. as we
It
start
ain't going
moving.
nowhere. Once
Yeah.
it gets in the jar, it's in the jar. So I think, and that's the big piece that was last, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah.
So I think
No,
I
that was
think
That was
we're
fantastic.
second
good.
to last, so there could still be one small piece stuck in the tube or partly stuck in the mesh.
Sure
Can
can.
run it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that was good. Let's do it again.
Okay, let's, what are we doing again?
If we find a white
So,
sponge, I think.
If we find
Okay.
yes.
Do you want to put it on the flush just to run it?
Yeah.
There might have been a white looking star calyptus kind of how we pan to the right before we decided to collect from the sponge.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Oh,
might be
there
worth
was
looking
a
in that
piece.
direction once
There-
we're
Sorry, there's
ready.
a piece in a flush jar.
Piece in the flush jar.
Yeah.
I think as long as we get that the tube is clear before we do any more sponge collecting. then-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah, that's our big piece.
yeah.
Oh, and yeah, a couple of smaller
Yeah,
pieces have
I
fallen.
think that
Yeah.
accounts for the bulk of that, right?
Bits, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Carrying on then.
Onwards.
We're-
So we're looking for a white sponge in the same region, correct?
Yep.
Beautiful.
We
And
have
any
a
corals
request
keep-
we've got a request to zoom in on the file shell just to the left of the view. I'm not sure if it's still in the view that was being referred to.
Zoom in now.
There it is.
Ah,
Good. And can we get one with the
There we go.
lasers?
Might need a
Zoom
laser
out.
zoom.
All right. Good capture.
Erica says it's a siphons file clam.
Okay, zoom out.
Coming out.
Okay.
white sponge. There's a white sponge above the lasers.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There's the white looking one.
Mm.
12 o'clock.
Jennifer says she just found the video from
Oh,
2018
there's
of
the
a
fishing gear.
hagfish.
Jeez. How
There's
about
another one
eh,
off to the right.
yeah, I think I like that
Yeah.
one better. I don't like the line at all. Just to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, whichever is.
This
Most
one's easier
convenient.
for me to set up on. And
Okay, that's fantastic. This one's great.
Lizzie, does long lining go on in this area? Long line fishing?
That is a good question. I think we do have some longliners, but I thought those were more at the western end of the sanctuary. But I'm not as familiar with exactly where they would be. That's actually one of our big questions as we're filling in data gaps of how we understand
you
what
good with
happens
that?
in the
I'll turn
sanctuary.
lasers off.
Yep, you can turn the lasers off.
Do we have a tighter picture
But
of the frame?
I think there
Yeah,
might be
please.
some.
Can I go in? I'm going in.
It's a good shot.
All right, all set.
Coming out. While you're setting up, I'm going to zoom in again.
Hope we're not gonna have to fight this crab for the sponge.
Ooh, I had some breakup in Herc. You see that? Herc video.
What happened?
That was just bubble, right?
No, it
Oh,
was Herc
don't be
video.
freaking me out.
Herc,
Did we?
Bob,
All
Herc
right, zoom
video.
out.
Herc video broke up.
I see
Putting
one
it in
of
my
your
log.
topside screens there is black. Is that normal? The bottom topside screen there?
Oh, it's because yeah, because I
Yeah, yeah.
bumped it with my knuckle and it
Okay.
went.
Okay.
It went. Yeah, it's okay. I mean.
Yeah. Argus still looks good. Yep.
All right.
So when we get these samples back in the lab, we'll be looking at, these sponges have different spicules and different parts of their tissues. So we'll take some of the tissue from the inside of the sponge and compare it to the outside of the sponge.
Silly headset. Oh, it's happened like 8 times already. Can you zoom in now?
And this is all, Abby, this is all a part of the classification or taxonomy of these sponges, correct? There, many have not been identified to species.
Yeah, so for example, I looked with a taxonomy expert, Henry Reiswig, who sadly passed away earlier this year, but he looked at some of our samples collected up off Washington, and out of 12 sponges we looked at during a week, 4 of them turned out to be likely new species.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They're just tricky because quite often microscopic features, so the little glass.
Is this going to be
spicules are
enough?
key. Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. That looks like a good slurp size as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We should be on sample jar 2.
Sample 47, Steve?
Correct.
That was an impressively
We have-
small piece.
Can we zoom in now?
Let's go in jar 2.
That's as far as
Yeah,
I
that's
got
correct.
on starboard.
Suction's on.
Okay.
Subsamples of these will be also taken for genetic analysis as well. That means in the future we'll be able to use things like eDNA in order to identify whether species were present or absent in an area, even if we didn't happen to see them on ROV video.
Anything yet?
Not yet.
Do we spy a little coral of the upper right-hand corner? Potentially.
I can turn off suction for a second, see if anything settles.
Yep. Oh, wait. Zoom in now?
Oh.
Zoom in now?
No way.
How?
Oh,
Oh,
Sounds like a magic trick. Like something up your sleeve.
Can you?
It's tape.
It's
Oh,
just
good.
tape.
Okay.
oh.
You might have found the first magnetic sponge.
Alright, I'm gonna run suction again. Let's see
Yeah.
if it,
Hose has decided to flip over on me.
oh,
Not seeing nothing?
no.
Well, it wasn't that big a piece. I would not think it would get hung up. Right? It's
Yeah.
pretty small.
Maybe it's in the little mesh.
We could get another sample if we think. That's the deadly silence of science there. Should we get another sample?
Yes, please. If we're not
Right.
sure that it, I mean,
Yeah.
Let me
I don't
also
know where
just
it's.
try switching jars, maybe. It's not that jar.
Well, is that a different jar?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know if we should have done that, but
no.
because it could have been hung up on the edge of it, but anyway. Okay, so we want another piece?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Okay.
keep getting logged out of V-Link.
Yeah, same thing happened with me, but Abby did confirm she'd like another piece.
Okay. Am I getting moved off? What's happening here?
Nicely done.
They're not as delicate as they look, are they?
No.
Mm-mm. These ones are tough.
All right, you ready for suction?
Yeah, let me get this flipped around here. Okay. Go for it.
Yep.
Not seeing a lot of action in the jar there.
Yeah. I think maybe the other sponge is still stuck in there, and that's...
Has this been what's been happening with your other sponge collections so far? Slurping?
Well, it seemed like we got all the yellow sponge to me. I don't
Yeah.
know. Oh.
And you saw after the yellow sponge sample, the flow was quite high again. And now it's... Yeah. We had a similar challenge with kelp.
Yeah.
I think maybe for the next ones, if we sample any more of this type, just tearing a piece and just trying to just drop it in one of the little bio boxes.
So the
Might be a
issues with the
safer
little
bet.
bio boxes is that things can get flushed out of there because of thruster wash, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're lightweight things, they don't stay put in there. So just it's not as, you know, straightforward as you would hope. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying.
Yep.
All right.
Sponge Watch 2020.
turn off suction,
But,
see if anything
yeah,
drops.
yeah, do it again. It doesn't look very flowy to me, though.
Well, I just turned off suction to see if
Yeah.
anything settled. All right, back up to 100. Yeah, you can see there's some little bits flowing, but it's not what 100 normally would
Right. Well, I think, yeah. Why don't you stop flow, and we just have to go to the flush jar because nothing's coming through there. So
be. Okay.
we might end up with sponge in the flush jar again. But
All right.
yeah, that's going to town in there. Okay, stop.
Stopped.
I think that
So
fish
maybe
had something in its mouth as it swam by.
maybe it just gets hung up in the
Mesh.
mesh. You know, it's not falling down into the bottom of the jar, but it's in there because that's what just happened here, right?
Yep, could be.
This is
Yeah.
just, and this has just got the holes. It doesn't have the mesh. Yeah. You want to rotate off this and back?
Yeah.
So go back to the other jar.
Yeah, I'll just try to shake it loose, kind of.
Was it 2? Was 2 the one?
Yeah, 2 is the one.
Well, do we want to get another sample and just try and stick it in the box then?
Yes, please. If we, I mean,
Okay.
I feel like we can't say that we've got the sample yet because
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think we've had some more input on the sponge sampling, but try and just do a tear of the piece rather than a twist? So do the tear and then slurp, just because we want to make sure that the spicules kind of stay put as much as possible when we come to look at, which ones are on the surface and which ones are inside
yeah, it
and which
seems
ones are
like
on the outside.
there is a chance that we'd end up with a whole sponge doing that, but okay.
Yeah,
We're also at a watch change right
Yeah.
now.
We will let the next watch handle.
Yes. We're you're gonna hear us popping off. We will update the next watch on how you'd like to collect a sponge, and perhaps we can look around to see if there are any other white sponges so we don't end up with an entire sponge of this size.
Okay, so I am going to log off to let Meredith Everett on, and we are in the middle of a shift change and a watch change. And so I thank you all, and I'm going to go out and get a new headset, I think, for my next opportunity. Thank you all, and welcome Meredith.
Thanks, Di.
Thanks, Di.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Hi,
Yeah.
Meredith. Yep.
Hey, Meredith.
All right, I am on and set up.
All right, while everyone else is changing positions, I saw you join the chat probably around 11:45, but just to give you a quick rundown of what happened so far. South of Anacapa, and we've hit 2 waypoints roughly so far of the 4, so I'm hoping to get the next 2 in the next shift. 2 shifts? Yeah. We've collected 2 transects, mostly over soft sediment. We've been encountering some rocks, but now this is our first, really the first few minutes into this habitat that we're looking at right now, and we're seeing a lot of Staurocalyptus sponges. But we've also seen several lines. Some are really small and curly, and then we've seen some larger fishing lines, likely to pots and traps. And so we're going to be making short moves because the visibility isn't super great towards our next waypoint, which will be more directly upslope. And we collected a little bit of kelp for Taylor Ann, who's looking at microplastics, and Abby's collected the yellow and the white. Well, to be determined on the white Staurocalyptus sponges, but that's pretty much what we've done so far.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
good.
So we tried to take and slurp pieces of this white sponge, but the tissue hasn't appeared in the slurp jar. So we were going to try and maybe grab another piece and just put it in one of the bio boxes. Yeah, the pilot Bob on the last shift was explaining that the bio boxes are not a sure bet because sometimes things fly out.
I had to mute because my dog was barking. Are we then right by AI?
Yeah, yeah, roughly. We didn't quite get all the way to AI because we were starting to come across those lines. And so we're headed upslope. We're just northwest shy of AI, and we'll be heading up the slope towards AJ.
Excellent.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Where are we?
I can see one of those lines in the frame
Somewhere
right
in
now.
California, I think.
Let me do a DVL reset right now. Don't mind. Reset. Okay. All right, so do we want to talk about the sponge a little bit? What our plans are for it?
Sure. Yeah, so we've been having it's been causing a little bit of trouble. So we had 2 small pieces that we attempted to slurp into jar 3, but it doesn't look like any of those pieces made it. So I would still be very keen to get a sample of this sponge, and before the watch changeover we were talking about possibly trying to get a grab and putting it in one of the bio boxes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and then there was some chat on the science chat about the best techniques to kind of make sure that we get a good sample for taxonomy, and I know it's quite, you know, it's very different from us at home, kind of observing things to what you guys experience. But if you could Amanda was saying that a sort of grab and a flick to try and pull a piece off has been working quite well for them on these types of sponges rather than a twisting motion. But obviously that's, yeah, leave that up to the pilot.
Okay. Zoomy zoom. Any particular place on there that you want?
I mean, there's that piece that's already sort of coming torn off at the top right. That might be a good bit to grab onto.
Sure.
But no particular preference.
What was that again about the tearing versus the twisting? I didn't catch that part.
So on the last shift, we were trying. Bob was sort of rotating the wrist to tear a piece off, and there was some feedback that this would probably make identifying the sponge a little bit more difficult because it might kind of interfere with where all the spicules end up. So a kind of tearing motion would be preferable. However, I do know that then the twisting was because with the tearing, apparently that it's difficult sometimes not to come up with the whole sponge.
Roger.
Nice.
That's lovely. Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Okay. Starboard box, I'm thinking one of the little boxes.
Yep. You could throw it in starboard box A. That's empty.
Starboard box A.
That's Dan's favorite starboard box.
Can you disable starboard vert? Change that camera over for me. A couple cameras to change there.
There we go.
Which may cause us to float. Okay, open, open, open. Bonus, it sinks.
Brilliant.
All right.
Sample in the
in.
box. Zoom in there on the sponge if you want. What's left of it.
Great sample, thank you.
And if you turn that vert back on for us.
Yep. Coming back on.
Can I just check, are we still calling this sample 47?
Yes, I still have it notated as sample 47.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, there's likely 2 bits of sponges somewhere in the slurp tube.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes, that was passed on to me. and that would be in
Cool.
slurp number 2. I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to jam the flush on for a while. Okay, so I'm headed north.
Roger that.
Heading north. I'm not sure where I'm headed.
If we head north, that would actually be a good thing. And then north for a bit, upslope, northwest for a bit, along slope, or sorry, northeast for a bit, along slope, and then north again, and that'll get us to AJ. I understand that we don't necessarily need to hit AI, we're close enough to it, and the idea is to go to AJ, is that correct, Shore?
Yes. Yeah, proceed to AJ.
Got it. Okay, so...
in the safest way, since we've encountered some lines, however best you see fit with the visibility and the ship moves.
Sure, we'll just take it slow, and we'll always have the ROV out in front. And we will look out for fishing lines.
Okay.
Okay. Comfortable with 0.3, Dan? Or
sure.
Go slower than that with the lines.
See how our ballast is here. Get a feel for what's happening. Lighten that up a little bit. Just playing with the Z-bias here, so get it dialed in where I like it. Somewhere in there, slowly floating.
Okay, goodbye to Abby. Thank you for helping direct the sponge collection. And she's jumping off Z-Link.
Thank you.
Z and I and
Enjoy the next shift. Yep, still lurking here. Thanks, everyone.
30 and 15.
Thanks, Abby. And whenever we get situated too, I think we'll take a brief look around, and then we'd also be interested in starting another transect in the near future.
Oh, what did I just do there? Roger. Can you play with that, Rennie?
Yep.
Get it set how it's supposed to be.
We're headed north, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roger, I haven't called in yet, but once you guys get all sorted, we're only at 500 meters of water, so.
When you get a chance, Jake, can you turn off the porch light for us?
Yes.
Thank you. Looks like we're headed downhill.
Should be up.
Is that correct?
It'll slightly slope. The contours go at roughly 0.45, but you could be in a micro pit or something. It's not showing up on the bathy.
Just gonna slide to the left here as a sonar target there.
Roger that. That's good. Good direction to get in front of Argus too.
What's that?
It'll be a good direction to get in front as well for Argus.
Oh yeah, the hill's on the left. Oops.
Just passed over an eel pout. And there's another one just going off the bottom of the screen now with the thorny head.
It's been so long I forget how to operate this ROV. I remember where all the buttons are again. Can you light up the CNET Pro or the C prints there? That was the sonar
sequence is
target.
on. Nice. There we go.
That's another large yellow star calyptus sponge.
The crab just nestled right over the lip inside.
Do you want a close-up on this guy or just keep going?
I think we can keep going. We did get a good zoom on the one that we sampled, and I'd like to make some headway towards the next waypoint.
Copy.
Sure, are you good for a move there, Dan?
Thank you.
I think so. Am I lined up a little? I need to slide to the left a little more.
Roger that. We'll start at 0.3. If it feels too fast with the fishing design that we're seeing, we can.
Yeah, I think 0.3 is all right.
Sure.
Walking speed.
Roger. Bridge now. Step 100 meters, bearing bearing north, speed 0.3. Thank you.
You can, why don't you try coming down 5 meters, Jake?
Coming down 5.
We're seeing a lot more biodiversity than we were initially in the soft sediments. Those rocky areas providing a lot more substrate for things to attach to and grow on, like these sponges. And we've also seen some cucumbers, sea cucumbers with their frilly white mouth parts. And we're headed upslope on the south-facing slope of Anacapa Island in the Channel Island Sanctuary.
I tuned in a little earlier while I was doing some work. I had it on the background and I kept looking over and going, oh no, more mud. Oh no, more mud. But I seem to have gotten on watch right as we hit the good habitat, which is always nice.
And a clam?
Is that fish on its side?
I don't know.
It's
Is
a grenadier.
Oh, it's an enemy
or
folded
there's
Or
over.
no?
Brachiopods.
Oh no, he's not. That's a grenadier. There we go. He turned. Okay.
Maybe you're right,
I
Dan.
was just giving you an odd
Maybe those are
profile.
brachiopods.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah,
I didn't get close enough.
look like it.
Bring our head back around to the north here.
Copy.
Everybody's headed north.
Ship move has commenced. Seeing a lot of little. There's a big line back there, and I thought I saw a little line.
Yeah, I followed the little line for a while.
Yeah.
Good
I
fishing
think there's
here.
a little line just going off the bottom of the screen that's kind of buried. Looks just like monofilament.
Fishing with a nice view. The camera's outside, and when we were stepped outside before coming on watch, really pretty island to be next to.
Yeah, and it's going to be some nice weather. It's going to get hot too. We have a heat wave here in our parts this week.
That explains a bit.
That's a lovely change from what we've got going here. I was a little concerned about watches because we had a big windstorm yesterday afternoon, and I was a little surprised to come home to power.
Oh, wow.
Now it's sunny, just cold.
Just gonna let Argus catch up a little bit there.